AOP Tech is pleased to present the TerraNova series, a principal's guide for user account management, presented by Sister Edward William Quinn, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment.
For principals to show them what they need to do to prepare for their teachers to get on successfully to the program and how to use the program. There are some preliminary steps that the principals should do in order to get into it. The first thing you need to do is to sign into CTB Online Reporting. Some people make the mistake of just signing into CTB.com, which will take you to another site. So it's important that you sign into CTBOnlineReporting.com and you get a screen similar to the screen that is here. When you get that screen, your username is a name that is all in capital letters. So I'm going to log into a school that's no longer in existence just for demonstration purposes, so you can see what it would look like if you were logging into your own school. The username is usually all capital letters. The password is not necessarily capital letters, but the password is case sensitive. So when you sign into the password, if it does not click right away, you may need to check whether or not you have your caps lock down. When you open it up, you get a screen like this. Now, generally, I would recommend that you read everything and before you agree, because that's important. But I can assure you, if you were to open that up, it might be 36 or 38 pages long. I've read the terms of agreement, and I feel it's safe for you to agree to it. When you click agree, you get what is known as the home page. I think, principals, it's important that you know how to set up the program in your school so you know who is working in the program and how to change passwords. So I'm going to demonstrate that now first so that you can set this up for your teachers when you get your scores back, which should be in the next week or two, or if you already have them, this will help you to set it up in case you need to change a password for a teacher. It's important that you know what's in here. This part up at the top, everything that's printed in blue is a hyperlink, and it's a link to something else in the program. You're on the home page, but it's important that you know to go to the control panel, and when you open the control panel, you have a series of things that you as administrator can do. If you have a new teacher, you can add the user account, which I'll come back to a little bit later, but I think before you do that, it's important to view your user accounts. So when you click on View User Accounts, you get a page that looks like this. It will have every account that has been listed under your school. Now, when you're looking at this, it's good that you do a review of this because I'm looking at this and I see that there are too many people here that have administrator accounts, which means they can get into things that only you should be getting into. The role for the teacher should be as a normal user. The role for the principal should be administrator. The type of account that everyone should have is listed here as a class account. They're not going to be able to access more data than their own class if it's only going to be a class account. My recommendation is that you change the type of account to a school account so that they can access the class above them, which is the class that they may have taught before, and they're also going to be able to access the class below them, which means they can prepare for the class coming into them in September. It's also helpful if you've got an honors math program. The teacher for honors math can access any class within the school if they have a school account. The status, Y, yes, means that it's active, N means that it's not active, and the access, you're going to give them full access, which means they will have access to all the records for those students. Okay, now how do you change it? Say, for example, I want to change this first one here. I'm just going to look into account information, and for this person, it says the account type is class. I want to come down here and click Change User, and it gives me quite a few drop-down menus. The type of account, I'm changing from class to school. The user role is changing from normal or from administrator to normal because this is a teacher within the school, and I'm going to leave it at user access. So I'm going to change this user, and it will come up with a message that it has been successfully changed. Okay, and I've changed the user. I'm going to go now to another user by returning to the control panel. And if you've noticed, that person that I changed is now, the role has changed to a normal user, and it has full access and it's active. Now, if the person is no longer in the school, I'm going to show you another one. I want to take somebody who has left the school. It's very important, principals, that if you have a teacher that leaves the school, that you disable the account. No one should have access to those accounts unless they are actively teaching in your school. Now, suppose this teacher has left the school. I go back into the View Account Information and merely disable the user. So this person, when I go back to viewing the user accounts, I return to the control panel and viewing the user accounts, that person is no longer going to show up in my list of active accounts. Okay. So that's basically the steps that you use in order to change the information. Now suppose I wanted to just change a password. A teacher comes to you and says, I forgot my password. My recommendation for setting passwords is that you try to use a password that's going to be something that you're going to be able to remember, or that you keep a list of passwords that you have in a secure place. But I would suggest that you reset the passwords, and if I want to, I'm just going to very simply for this one to show you for demonstration purposes, I'm changing Brownback's password, and I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I know I need at least 6 digits. Now that's not a very secure password, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'm changing the password, and I will get a message that says you have successfully changed the password for that user. Now when the user opens it for the first time, there will be a message on the screen that says this is the first time you are using this password. You may want to change it. Whenever they change the password, my suggestion would be is to use the same password and just add a number 1 or a number 2 to it so that you can be consistent with those passwords. Okay, coming back to that control panel and going back to the viewing the user accounts. At the bottom of the page, if you think, well, not all of my accounts are showing, it takes me from page 1 to 2 so that I get everybody's account showing. Principals, my recommendation is before you give any information out to the teachers about the TerraNova testing, that you make sure all of your accounts are set up correctly, that you've disabled any account from anyone that is no longer in the school, and that you add any new users to the school. Now, to add new users, you go back into the control panel, click on Add User Accounts, and go through the process as you would have with other things. The type of account is a school account. User role for a teacher is normal user. User access is full. Username, generally for a username, you might use first initial and last name. And I'm using just a demo iName here. Okay, and then you have to give it a password. Okay, and it will tell you right away if it's invalid, because passwords must be between 6 and 12 characters in length. Now, I would recommend, and Aaron, you can confirm this, that you use a variety of things to make the password secure. That if you want a secure password, you might use some numbers, maybe the numbers of the address of the school even, or from a phone number or something that you can remember, but always write it down afterwards. Plus the, maybe, for example, if you're in a suburban area, maybe the name of the town that you're in, or something that you can easily remember. So I'm going to put a password in. I'm going to remember there's a combination of numbers, and I'm just going to add that user, and it will always tell me if it has been successfully created. Now, if you do put a username in and it's a repeat, like how many Mary Smiths, and if you put M. Smith, and if there's 5 Mary Smiths in the Archdiocesan accounts, it's going to throw back and say that account already exists, so you might want to put Mary Smith 8 or Mary Smith 9, just so that you have something that you're going to remember, or put M.K. Smith or M.L. Smith, just so you have something to remember. Now I'm going to go back to the control panel principles to show you what you can do that's also in the control panel. There is an option there that says View User Activity. When I click on user Activity, I think this is important for you to share with the teachers. If you've given the teachers an assignment saying, before the next faculty meeting, I'd like you to look at your turnover math scores, principals, you can access this right away to see if they've really accessed the scores. This tells you, by looking at this, exactly who was on your accounts, what time they were on it, and what part of the account they handled. So you really know if it's really being done, so you don't go to the next faculty meeting and nobody has done it, so that you can't move forward. So it's a good checkup in the interim. Just as a reminder, I've looked into the accounts and not everybody has checked on their math score. Would you please remember to do that before the next faculty meeting? It's a little thing that, says maybe Big Brother is watching, but you do have the ability to check and see if people really have gotten into it and who really is using their data within your school. Okay. Going back to the control panel, somebody forgets their password, you can change the password very easily just by going into change password for the school. Sometimes when you, as an administrator, you yourself need to have your password changed because something has happened. Your password, the administrator's password, can be changed in one of 2 ways. You can always call me and I can change it through the central account, or what my suggestion would be is that you set up for yourself a backup administrator's account that you set up. Say, for example, this one is SCAGNESSAC. I could also set up the same ID with a number 1 after it or a number 5 after it, and just have a second backup account and set it up as an administrator's account, so you have that. You could go back and change the passwords by using that. Okay? I'm going to go back up to the upper right-hand corner where I have the blue hyperlinks. There's one thing I want to show you that is very helpful if you forget what I've said. There is in the program itself a very extensive guide for how to use everything in the program. Some of the things that I will be going over in the teacher section of this video are things like a summary report, roster reports. Everything is here in the guide step by step. So if I want to do a summary report, my suggestion would be to take this guide and download one copy, keep it in your faculty room so the teachers can access it, because it's extensive but it's well done. It takes you step by step through how to access a summary report. Shows you screen by screen what you should be seeing. Every part of it is delineated and goes through each thing so you're aware of everything, the potential of everything that you can do with those reports. Okay? So again, that is up in the upper right hand corner. It's called the help button, and it really is very helpful. Another thing, principals, you need to know is that you have unlimited access to the cloud in this program. Any report you create can be saved in the program. There is a space on the cloud, an unlimited amount of space, that if you've created a report, you don't have to go in and start all over from scratch. You can save all those reports, and it will show up in the Save Reports section of the program. Okay, and everything that you have, you can save either as a PDF or you can save it as an Excel spreadsheet if you want to do further things with it. Okay. Principals, I think that in itself should get you started on some of the things you do to set up the program for your school so that your teachers will have better ease and better access to what they need to do with the program. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, but hopefully that will give you a head start.
So AOP Tech would like to thank you for watching this video. We hope it has been helpful and informative. If you'd like to contact Sister Edward, her contact information is above. And we certainly recommend that you subscribe to AOP Tech right over there. And if you'd like to watch the next video in the series, you can find it right over there. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.